Welcome everybody to my channel. My name is Zaina. This is New Books. Exciting times we're living in, exciting times with many awards. We had just today, when I make this video, we had the announcement of the Booker shortlist, and wasn't it a big surprise? Baby, what a big surprise! I was thinking of that old Chicago song when I saw the list that Hilary Mantel was not on the list. Who would have said that? Who would have put money on that? But the Booker is on the shortlist, and the next prize is looming around, and that's the National Book Award tomorrow on September 16, when I will publish this video. Tomorrow the first long lists will be published. We have the National Book Award, which is the United States Book Award, which is coming tomorrow with the first long lists in 5 categories: fiction, non-fiction, poetry, young people, and international literature, fiction and translation. So that's 5 awards. This is 5 juries consisting always of people who are from the subject they are judging. So in the fiction section we have Roxane Gay as the head of the jury and some other beautiful people that I don't have here right now, but you can look them up. The National Book Award is national. The national is very important for that because you have to be, now you don't have to be, but you have to be, should be an American citizen to win the National Book Award. If you aren't an American citizen, it is also possible to win the National Book Award if you are living in the United States and have applied for American citizenship. That could make you eligible, and your publisher will have to talk to the jury and to the foundation. It's also possible that if you have if you're living in America and you have problems acquiring the American citizenship, then you also could be eligible for the National Book Award. That makes it quite complicated because people who want to predict, like me, where we are not really knowing what author has applied for citizenship, what author has problems with citizenship and whatever, and who might be granted this eligibility for being submitted with his work or her work for the prize. So, the National Book Award has been handed out since 1936, and it has it has been remodeled over the years a couple of times. But if you look at the fiction section, lots of great authors have won this prize. The most successful author is Saul Bellow. He won 3 times, last time with his novel Mr. Samler's Planet. Other people like other people that I don't have written down here anymore have won the National Book Award twice, like lots of men actually. Bernard Malamud has won it 2 times, I know that. John Updike did it 2 times. Philip Roth won it 2 times. Then the only woman that I can think of is Jasmine Ward, with for the last time for her beautiful novel Sing Unburied Sing, that I've read. Won the National Book Award twice. And we have a long list of 10 titles, and in contrary to the Booker Prize, there will be certainly 1 or 2 short story collections on that list that we will get on Friday, because the fiction list is the last one that we get. We get first the other categories, but fiction will always be last because it's sort of the climax of the announcement week for the long list. So I made up a long list, and I was looking at, of course, the International Women's Prize. I was looking at the Booker Prize, and if you see the short list from today, from the Booker, where 5 of the 6 authors are or have American citizenship. All these 5 authors who are on the Booker of the 6 on the Booker long list would be also possibly on the National Book Award long list. They could be there. So the only one who's not eligible would be Tsitsi Dangaremga, because she's from Zimbabwe. But authors like Shuggie Bain, Douglas Stewart, who is actually originally from Scotland, but has been living in the United States for a couple of years. He has an American passport nowadays, so he would be, Shuggy Bain would be very much eligible for the National Book Award. And the same is also for The Shadow King by Maza Mengiste. 5 of the 6 titles could be eligible. And even if you look at the Women's Prize, we had already on the short list authors like Jenny Offel, we had C-Pam Zhang on the Booker long list, and so on and so on. So lots of authors that we already have seen in different competitions over the last couple of months would be eligible for the National Book Award. So I was looking at the possibility to do a list. I had, in the end, 23 novels. I wanted to make it diverse. I wanted to make it female, mostly. And here I am with my 10 suggestions for a National Book Award fiction long list. Those books have to be published, between December 1, 2019 and November 30 of 2020. And it's always a problem for me and for other people who predict those lists to see ahead what kind of books that are going to be published like in October or November might end up on that long list. But I have composed a long list, a beautiful long list, I think a long list that you could order from your independent bookstore, from your library, whatever. I think it would make a great, great diverse list. And I hope that at least 3, I'm very modest now after the Booker mess that I predicted, if 3 of those 10 titles that I name here are ending up on the long list of the National Book Award, I would be so happy. But here is my long list for the National Book Award in fiction. Number 1, and in alphabetical order, last name, is Zaina Arafat, You Exist Too Much, published June 9, 2020 from Catapult. This is a story that actually, it's a novel that reminds me a lot when I read the summary, reminds me a lot of a book that I have read for the Readathon, and this is Samra Habib's We Have Always Been Here, of a gay Canadian woman coming originally from Pakistan, moving to Canada, and trying to get accepted in her queerness by the Canadian society and also by her family. So this book is a little bit similar, I think. Zaina Arafat it's a novel about a 12-year-old girl. She's from Palestine. She's moving to the United States, and she has to find her way between cultural, religious, and sexual identities as she endeavors to lead an authentic life. It sounds a bit similar. It has gotten very beautiful reviews. I think I saw one review today by 6 Minutes for Me about that book that was very positive. So I think that would be a good number 1 on that list. Zaina Arafat, You Exist Too Much, published by Catapult. I will be so extremely angry, dear friends of the National Book Jury, if the second book would not be on your list on Friday. I would be so angry. It would be like Hilary Mantel not on the short list of the Booker for this year. And you know what I mean? You know what I'm talking about. We are already still in the beginning of the alphabet. This is B like Bennett. Brit Bennett, The Vanishing Half, published on June the 2nd, 2020 by Riverhead Books. This is an amazing novel. I read it a few weeks ago about 2 twin sisters, Desiree and Stella Vignes, growing up in a little town called Mullard in Louisiana. One of the twin girls is living as a white woman first in Boston, then in California. The other woman stays, no, she doesn't stay, she moves away, but then she moves back to Mullard, working in the diner where she worked as a little girl. And they have like 2 completely different lives, and this is such a beautiful novel. Brit Bennett caught me with The Vanishing Half. It's one of the best novels that I have read during 2020, so I absolutely wanted to be there. The third book is a weak point that I have, because I was desperately looking for short story collections that could made it on the long list of the National Book Award, because usually you have 2 or 3 short story collections on that long list, and it was not easy to find a lot of short story collections. I found 2 that I'm quite confident of and quite content with. And the first one is an author that has been celebrated when she appeared on the literary scene a couple of years ago with her novel The Girls. She was such a big star, and then she got problems because there were issues about her work. This time went by, and now she's back with a yellow covered book. You can see it here now. Yellow cover, and the inscription is Daddy. September 1, published by Random House in New York, 2020. The fourth novel, I'm not so sure if that author is eligible for the NBA, but I thought since they, because it's a non-binary person, since they are living in the United States a couple of years already, they might be very well eligible for the National Book Award, and I think that many of you have raved about that book. I absolutely want to read it. This is, I hope I get the name right, Akwaeke, Emezi, and their novel The Death of Vivek Oji, published on August 4, 2020, even that one by Riverhead in New York. The Death of Vivek Oji. I read the summary here. One afternoon, in a town in southeastern Nigeria, a mother opens her front door to discover her son's body wrapped in colorful fabric at her feet. What follows is the tumultuous, heart-wrenching story of one family's struggle to understand a child whose spirit is both gentle and mysterious. Raised by a distant father and an understanding but overprotective mother, Vivek suffers disorienting black moments of disconnection between self and surroundings. As adolescence gives way into adulthood, Vivek finds solace in friendships with the warm, boisterous daughters of the Niger wives, foreign-born women married to Nigerian men. But Vivek's closest bond is with Asuta, the worldly, high-spirited cousin whose teasing confidence masks a guarded private life. As their relationship deepens, and Asuta struggles to understand Vivek's escalating crisis, the mystery gives way to a heart-stopping act of violence and a moment of exhilarating freedom. This is The Death of Vivek Oji by Akwaeke, Emezi by Riverhead, number 4 on my National Book Award list. Number 5 is a book that I absolutely want to have to be there. It's one of my favorite reads yet until in the year of 2020, and that's why I kept it there, although I might have my doubts if the jury will go for it. And this is Pizza Girl by Kiyoung Frazier, published on June 9, 2020 by Doubelday. Great story of this young 18-year-old girl who's living in Los Angeles, pregnant, married, no, not really married, but living with her boyfriend, who's the father of her child, and her mother in a very small apartment. And she's a pizza girl. She meets a woman that twice her age, and they develop a very strange and very interesting relationship, and things changed. Things changed very much for that pizza girl, and it's beautiful, authentic characters, very well crafted by Kiyoung Frazier. The dialogues are top-notch, I think, and very believable, and this is why I have Pizza Girl on my list for the National Book Award, my friends. Number 6, and there's so few men on that list, so I'm so happy that I found at least 2 men to make the list. And this sequel of standalone, but nevertheless there's a first book about the character, so you could call it a sequel. This is Garth Greenwell's novel Cleanness, published by Farrar, Strauss and Giroux on January 14. This is Sofia, Bulgaria. A landlocked city in southern Europe stirs with hope and impending upheaval. Soviet buildings crumble, wind scatters sand from the far south, and political protesters flood the streets with song. In this atmosphere of disquiet, an American teacher navigates a life transformed by the discovery and loss of love. As he prepares to leave the place he's come to call home, he grapples with the intimate encounters that have marked his years abroad, each bearing uncanny reminders of his past. A queer student's confession recalls his own first love, a stranger's seduction devolves into paternal sadism, and a romance with another foreigner opens and heals old wounds. Each echo reveals startling insights about what it means to see connection with those we love, with the places we inhabit, and with our own fugitive selves. Garth Greenwell, Cleanness on my list for the National Book Award. Number 7 is a book that many of you, I think, expect on Friday as well. This is Leilani, Luster, published by Farrar, Strauss, and Giroux on August 4, 2020. This is about a young black woman figuring her way into life as an artist and into love in this darkly comic novel that has a lot about female sexuality, about this black woman. She meets Eric, a digital archivist. White guy starts a relationship with him. He's married, and she invites her to live with him and his wife. And strange story starts. And there's also an adoptive daughter, and Edie's the only black woman young Akila may know. And Luster has been raved about on BookTube, and that's why I have it on my list. And now another book that I'm not so sure if the author is eligible, but I name it anyway because she might already be an American citizen, I'm not sure. This is Megha Majumdar, Burning, a novel that we have talked about much on BookTube, haven't we? June 2, 2020 by Knopf, published. This is about 3 characters in India, about a terror attack that has been started, and a Facebook post that changes the life of 3 people in India. It has been described as a very taut, symphonic, propulsive, and riveting novel, and I'm still haven't read it. I have ordered it from the library, and I'm waiting for a burning still. Time for the second collection of short stories. I absolutely want to read this one. It's by the second man on my list, Andrew Martin, Cool for America Stories, published on July 7 by Farrar, Strauss, and Giroux. I'm not working for them, but please believe me, I don't get any money from Farrar, Strauss, and Giroux. Expanding the world of his classic in-the-making debut novel Early Work, Andrew Martin's Cool for America is a hilarious collection of overlapping stories that explores the dark zone between artistic ambition and its achievement. The collection is bookended by the misadventures of Leslie, a young woman who moves from New York to Missoula, Montana to try to draw herself out of a lingering depression, and over the course of the book gains painful insight into herself through a series of intense friendships and relationships. Other stories follow young men and women, alone and in couples, pushing hard against and often crashing into the limits of their abilities as writers and partners. So this is running throughout Cool for America is the character's yearning for transcendence through art, the hope that maybe the perfect or even just the good enough sentence can finally make things right. And the last book on my list for the National Book Award is the book that you have already heard me talking about today in my live reaction to the Booker Prize. This is How Much of These Hills is Gold by C. Pam Zhang, because I think this book deserves a second chance. The story of these 2 Chinese-American girls trying to bury their father in the American West. This is my long list, and if you have different suggestions, if you want to share your opinions with me on whatever, please drop a comment in the section below. I'd be so happy about that to discuss it with you. And I'm looking forward to Friday, and I'm also looking forward to the other long lists. I'm going to publish a video, to release a video about the other long list. And that was my National Book Award prediction long list video for fiction. Thank you very much for watching this. If you are a subscriber and return to my channel, I thank you so much for your time and your interest in my channel. If you see this for the very first time, you think, okay, this guy is quite okay. I like him, or I like what he says. Please subscribe to my channel, and have a good day, and bye-bye, and see you soon.